Alrighty. Greetings, welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected and all the viewers are smarter than the average bear. And just kind of going to get this show started because it's hot as heck and it's going to get hotter this weekend. Don't know how long my computer will hold out. But anyways, there's plenty to talk about and we're going to talk about it, so let's go. If you weren't ready before, you're ready now. What's going on? Crackling.
Should be better. Thanks for letting me know. Grizzly didn't crackle because it's internal in the computer, which is good. It's just whatever's going through, for whatever reason, whatever's going through my USB cord. Everybody good? Does it sound better? Okay, good. Great. People on Twitter, what's up? Hanging out with us today, thank you. People of Twitter. People of Rockfin, are you present? Yes, you are. We got Joseph Wood. 4 hours of Weinstein and Terrence on Rogan, what? Oh, is it on laptop mic now? Is that right? Thank you for letting me know. Sorry. It's hot, man.
Okay, I think we're better now. I think we're better. Thank you. Thank you. Phantomus, what the heck is going on, man? It's been a while. Haven't seen you since Colin. Oh, we're all going to get there together. Let's see. Let's see. Supreme Court's been busy. Hurricane Beryl has been busy. Beryl. You've been missing the shows, yeah. It's been no Colin. Although, I have a Rumble channel now, which I think they bought Colin, and I think there's a way to call in on Rumble, so I haven't figured it out yet. I will. Puerto Rico getting smacked around by Hurricane Beryl. Man, that's some very scary and wild storm surge there. This man looks like he's looking for something and the wave came in and he's like, oh. For crying out loud. My keys were down there. Serious flooding in Cumanacoa, Venezuela, after the overflow of Manzanares River due to Hurricane Beryl. I'm going to look at this. No, come on now. This page doesn't exist. My ass. Venezuela they're getting smacked today. Smacked around. I've seen a couple of really scary videos out of Venezuela. Come on. Sounds right.
Un autobús se atravesó por allá. Aquella avenida. No saca la el autobús está por esa calle, ¿no? Por allá, subiendo el puente. Pero el completo ahí. Trancó las pastas.
Gas farm says all of that water, and we got about a half an inch all of June.
Un autobús se atravesó por allá.
Well, there's more flooding videos on the way, but first we're going to look at
El autobús está por esa calle, ¿no? Por allá.
getting up there again. It's going to be a hot one. Friday here. National Weather Service forecasting Death Valley to hit 130 Fahrenheit. 130 Fahrenheit next Monday. Ooh. Should be the highest temperature ever reliably recorded on Earth. I think Death Valley holds the record. The official record, 134, is Death Valley, July 1913. It's highly disputed and considered improbable by most climatologists. The current official highest registered air temperature on Earth is 56.7 C, 134. Recorded 1913 Furnace Creek Ranch. Okay. Anyways, it's a hot. That's all we gotta know about it. It's a hot. It's like mid-February. Deebs, where are you? Pacific Northwest? I wish. Terrence Brown. What is his theory on what? I don't. Oh, Terrence Howard. Okay, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. No. Anyways, it's going to be real hot in the California. Let's see. What are they predicting? It changes, of course. On the daily. Friday, it says 100. Getting up to 100 on Friday. 97 on Saturday. Then 92, 93, 97, 98 next Wednesday. Say it ain't so. I can't deal. I don't want it. It's too hot for me, Jesus. In Hubei, the rainfall in the past 3 days exceeded 500 millimeters. Floods. This is a wild, wild video. Floods poured into a garage. A parking garage. Oh, Scotland. Scotland. Deeb says Scotland. Sorry about that. Oh, that must be nice. Nice, cool weather. Look at this. People getting washed out of a parking garage. So the hook to Justin Timberlake, he needs it. Well, I guess so. Or maybe he doesn't need it. Last thing he needs is another hit. He needs another hit like he needs a hole in his head. No, I'm kidding. And when I say hit, you know what I'm talking about. Heard he likes to party. He's bringing Messi back. Sorry. I'm over here just cracking myself up. Don't mind me. Yeah. By the way, so I'm into the stock market here and there. Or I try to keep my ear to the ground, things that are happening. But it's interesting because today I listened. There's a I was listening to. There's a show I listened to. Sorry, I don't know why I'm showing that comment. Show I listened to, which is like a financial show on Fridays. And the main topic of the show, the title of the show was trading extreme heat and storms. And I was like, what? Trading extreme. So the topic of and what that means is they were talking about the subject of trading on incoming, basically climate collapse. I didn't get a chance to catch the whole thing. I actually just caught the end of it. But I was the title was what intrigued me. I don't know if I think I'm going to go back and listen to it, the whole thing, but I mean, let's say you were in the financial markets and you knew something that most people were like, nah, get out of here. Climate change is stupid, right? or whatever. Or most people are like, climate change, whatever are you talking? Whatever are you saying? Climate change. But you had some information about the fact that, right? Trading weather events. So, either buying stocks of companies that might be involved in disaster relief and or rebuilding areas hit by extreme weather events, or selling stocks that might take a loss. Insurance companies might be good sells right now, because insurance companies they're not offering insurance, and they're also losing, going to probably have losses on the books, right? So it was just interesting that they were talking about it, and were bringing it to the fore. And I was like, you guys, I like this show because they're smarter than the average bears on this show. And I was like, listen to y'all talking about extreme weather events, while everybody else is like, oh, they got the HAARP machine going, and there's climate change is fake, and what are you talking about? This isn't even real. I was like, okay. So the people that actually have half a brain and can understand, see with their own eyes something is going on the planet Earth and understand the implications in the future, could probably do well in the stock market if they knew what they were looking for, while everybody else has the proverbial thumb up their butts. Anyways, it was interesting. Jazz Farm says, financial advisor for 30 years. If you get your news online through media sources, you deserve the outcomes. There are no ethics in stocks, only unrelenting quest to separate you from you. Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure. Are you guys sick of watching this over and over? Gene says, I think they buy the insurance company stocks and resell them as a collection like they did for Yes. Rehypothecating, as it were. Or you can trade the debt. Yeah. Jazz Farm says, if you can suppress information and buy the disinformation, you can make money, or vice versa, right? Yeah. Right. Anyways, I found that very interesting. Let's look at this post from Ben C. I know we were going to talk about the SCOTUS ruling a little bit. So I poked around and looked at it. And there were several rulings in the last week that had people concerned. Jazz Farm, Wall Street knows full well what we are facing. Yeah, of course. Is it any wonder that the stock market is at an all-time high? It's going to be, historically, right before a really huge crash, Wall Street is always at its highest. Wall Street is always at its highest right before a crash. Where is it at now? At its highest. We'll talk about this SCOTUS, a couple of the SCOTUS rulings. Bella says the Pentagon spy and McPherson told him the powers that be don't appreciate him. Oh, in Guy's classroom, I see. Powers that be don't appreciate him scaring the taxpayers. Right. Which is why, probably why this show is so suppressed. Because if you're telling people not only the truth about what's going to happen, but the actual path, the real way to either avoid, escape, or alleviate said path of the future, they don't want that. They don't want you talking about, degrowth or buying less, or telling people that consumerism is not a great thing for the planet. They don't want that. Oh, Mark Austin from the Jason Group, yeah. Well, let's look at this from Ben C. God dang, man, it is hot as heck. I'm sweating it up while I'm sitting here. Ben C says, breaking scientists warn we're beginning to feel the effects of a geologically instantaneous 21st century shift into extreme and unsurvivable conditions. We are starting to feel the effects of transitioning to a hothouse climate. Plus 4 to 5 C in a geological instant. Global change happening now is potentially like the Permian extinction, which occurred in just a few centuries. In my view, it is impossible to survive that sort of change, 4C by 2100, or how about 4C by 2050, which is probably more likely. That is beyond human physiology. That is the trajectory we are on now. No matter what we do with all the whiz-bang technology, physiologically, we can't survive that. Warming levels 4C may result from very high emissions scenarios, but can also occur from lower emission scenarios if climate sensitivity or carbon cycle feedbacks are higher than the best estimate. The most impressive scientists think exactly that. He says, 4, change this extinction economy now while it's still, I think he meant not too late to protect species and everyone. Or while it's still too late. Maybe he meant to say that. I don't know. Good thread from Ben C. Twitter people, hello. How you doing? How you doing? All right. Excuse me. My God. That was a really good video you sent me, Joseph. Thank you. I watched it, and it was good. I'll probably be covering that video soon. Oh, you guys are talking about Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard. Farmer scrambling after drought destroys pantry staple crops used around the world. Let's look at this. I think Paul Beckwith posted this. This will probably be an Apple News link, which frustrates me to no end, but that's fine. That's fine. Come on. Come on, T-Biscuit. Here we go. No. Let's go here. From the cool down. Farmer scrambling after drought destroys pantry staple crops used around the world. The drought will significantly threaten China's food supply, which is already a concern in a country of over 1.4 billion people, as well as the global food supply. This is from 2 days ago. Half of China is plagued by floods and mudslides. The Guardian reported the other half is gasping for any water at all. And for farmers struck by drought, concerns are mounting that this may be the end of their livelihoods. What is happening? Northern and central China are suffering from months of prolonged drought and extreme heat, which is prompting Chinese farmers to hold off on planting. This has led to a delay in production of popular crops such as rice, corn, and commonly used herbs such as mugwort. With advanced technology and artificial rainfall, there'd be some hope for us, one farmer told AFP. Advanced technology and artificial... Man, Blade Runner, bro. It's our future. If there's really no rain, average folks like us will face total crop failure. That's just how it is. According to phys.org, another farmer echoed the grim sentiments, saying if it really doesn't rain, the crops will all die. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Come on, man, you know the thing. Why is this pattern so concerning? This drought will significantly threaten China's food supply, which is already concerned in the country of over 1.4 billion people, as well as the global food supply. But what worries experts most is what will happen in the seasons to come should these severe droughts continue. This is likely given the weather patterns that scientists have cataloged for decades. While droughts have been a part of the natural weather cycle for a long time, their severity and duration are increasing because of one critical factor: global heating. What is being done about this? Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing, right? Sorry. That's not right either. Sorry about that. Just looking at my mug while I'm reading. Scientists are working to innovate around different ways to protect crops from drought, whether it's by modifying crops to need less water or by experimenting with artificial rain systems. Although the latter remains controversial for its use of chemicals. Not every farmer has been hit with severe drought yet, but the possibility seems to loom larger every day, as nearly every city faces a threat from climate-intensified weather. The best thing an individual can do is to work to decrease your own footprint, to slow global heating, whether that's by supporting green brands, okay, voting for pro-climate candidates, growing your own food, okay, ding, switching to an EV, ditching single-use plastics for long-term use plastic, don't do that, or using a green bank. My God. Guys, it's just that easy. I knew there was going to be some foolishness in there eventually. We knew there would be foolishness. Well, there you go, guys. Just vote for the right candidates and it'll get fixed. Or get yourself one of them new electric vehicles, okay? Get yourself one of them efficient stoves, and you're well on your way to fixing climate change. Alrighty. Excuse me. It's already been a long day. Time to go to bed. Exactly. Bright green lies. 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 Away with the charlatan and liars. Charlatans and liars. Okay. Records. This is from a couple days ago. Records were broken today in China. Zhenyuan was hit by heavy rain with 200 millimeters of rainfall in 12 hours. The water level of the Wuyang River rose by 11 meters. Holy Nikes. 11 meters. Do you know how much that is? What is that? 33 feet? $11 meters in 10 hours, exceeding the historical record by more than 3 meters. Schmacked. Got schmacked in the Googleplex. I'm trying to watch this video, but So we were talking a little bit yesterday about the supposed end of democracy, which I think ended a long time ago. I don't think it actually ended the other day. But let's look at what happened, if anybody isn't aware. There were several. The Supreme Court ruled on several things, but one of the things that has people concerned, along with this Project 2025 thing that everybody's all up in arms about. I mean, it's just a continuation of the move to a more fascistically right-wing society. I mean, it's just... Let's look at this, though. U.S. Supreme Court rules Trump has broad immunity from prosecution. I mean, I think they're trying to make sure that he gets in office because it's kind of, there's a plan. Trust the plan, bro. Conservative justices in the majority, liberals dissent, absolute immunity given to certain official acts. Ruling makes a Trump trial before election improbable. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled on Monday that Donald Trump cannot be prosecuted for actions that were within his constitutional powers as president in a landmark decision recognizing for the first time any form of presidential immunity from prosecution. The justices, in a 6-3 ruling authored by Chief Justice John Roberts, threw out a lower court's decision that had rejected Trump's claim of immunity from federal criminal charges involving his efforts to undo his 2020 election loss to Joe Biden. The 6 conservative justices were in the majority, while its 3 liberal members dissented. As I brought up earlier today, the Democrats fast-tracked and approved all of Trump's judicial appointments, even though he was an illegitimate president. He was a Putin puppet. He was an infiltrator. He illegally, won the presidency, but did not illegally lose the presidency, of course. I'm not saying this to defend Trump or support him. I'm just saying. It's kind of funny. They spent 4 years saying he was illegally president, and then when he lost and he said, I think I illegally lost, they were like, no, you can't say that. He was like, but hold on. Anyways, it's all theater, my friends. And you know that. But the whole time that he was, the big bad wolf at the door in his first presidency, the entire time, and the Democrats never met a military budget proposed by Trump that they didn't like. And again, they fast-tracked all of his judicial appointments, and they pretty much supported most of his policies. For the most part. There wasn't a lot of dissent from the Democrats on anything that Trump was doing. The only dissent from the Democrats was that Trump was a bad guy. Right? They didn't, he was, and the thing he was impeached for, funnily enough, was the same thing that Joe Biden bragged about on stage in public to everyone, anyone who could hear. He did the same thing. Anyways, but now they're saying that, there's not much of a chance. And a lot of people are saying that, well, this, this allows the president to do whatever he wants. I mean, the president already has elevated powers, and that happened way back in George Bush's term. There was a broad expansion of executive powers during George W.'s term. That was a long time ago. and along with the Patriot Act and all those things that happened back then, the president has already had a lot of powers. Okay, so this is not like a turning point or a brand new thing or, oh my God, this is on this day, democracy. No. But it's just another in a long line of precedents that gives the president more power. So that is true. It is another point for them and a point against us, basically. I'm not diminishing Jazz Farm. I'm not diminishing it. I'm saying that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm saying this is in line. This is in a line of things that have been happening that have, given presidents more power. It's another win for the oligarchy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's good at all. I'm just saying I think it's to be expected, right? And I think that they're setting Trump up. Obviously, they're setting Trump up to win. What did I say when Biden won? And what did a lot of people say? A lot of people were kind of saying, well, they're going to set it up again for Trump to come around and be president again. And this time, he's probably going to have much more of a mandate, right? Because Biden and the Democrats are going to lose so badly, and it's probably going to take down any kind of majority that they have. And so it is setting, Trump and the conservatives up to have a win, to have a big win, and to get. And then there's this, Project 2025, which a lot of people are, concerned about. Jazz Farm, all the confirmations of the evil six said that no one is above the law. The Supreme Court needs to be impeached. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not against you on that one. I'm not for this ruling in any way, shape, or form. Hell to the null. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not saying this is on any level a good thing. Trump is a Republican candidate challenging Biden. Oh, a Democrat. Thanks, Reuters. In the November 5th U.S. election in the 2020 rematch. Supreme Court's slow handling of the case and its decision to return key questions about the scope of Trump's immunity to the trial judge to resolve, making it improbable he will be tried before the election of these charges brought by the special counsel, Jack Smith. We conclude that under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power requires that a former president have some immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts during his tenure in office. And here's another thing. Here's a yeah. Oh well, yeah. Jazz Farm. I mean, if it wasn't already kissed goodbye, it's definitely. So here's another thing. Presidents have not been held accountable in the past, of course, right? Nixon was pardoned. For all intents and purposes, George W. was pardoned. He very clearly committed all kinds of crimes. George W. did all kinds of criminal shit. And when the baton was passed, it was like, well, what are we going to do? Let's let bygones be bygones. I mean, that's pretty much how it's always handled. They don't They don't really hold ex-presidents accountable. And so is it any surprise that Trump is not going to be held accountable? It's not much of a surprise. Not to me. And, certainly I'm not saying, just because I'm not downplaying this, I'm just saying this is in line with how it always goes. I'm not downplaying it. I mean, surely this is going to set a precedent. Yes, Shani, we have a very short memory. Exactly. People are historically ignorant, and that sucks. Jazz Farm, but now the Supreme Court has sided with Nixon, right? No justice who went to jail for 2008 financial collapse. Yep. There are more of us than them, and it's time we take. Absolutely, because there, the power is not going to hold power accountable. Power is not going to hold power accountable. It never does. It never does. The only people that are going to hold it accountable are who? Me and you. Yes, Bella. Anyways, immunity for former presidents is absolute with respect to their core constitutional powers, Roberts wrote, and a former president has at least a presumptive immunity for acts within the outer perimeter what? Of his official responsibility. Meaning prosecutors face a high legal bar to overcome that presumption. In remarks at the White House, Biden called the ruling a dangerous precedent while being completely exempted for his mishandling of classified documents. So he's one to talk now, is he? It's a dangerous precedent. Man, hope I get some of that precedent too. That's what Biden is thinking. Biden is not concerned about this. You know this. The nation was found because Biden will be the beneficiary of said ruling. The ruling could scuttle parts of the special counsel's case as U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan mulls the breadth of Trump's immunity. Anyways, Trump 78 is the first, right? So they don't really want to set a precedent for presidents being held accountable. That's the bottom line of this. They've never been held accountable before. Never. He is the first. Do you understand that? He is the first. And they don't want a first. They don't want a first. They don't want anybody. Nobody's above the law except for me, and I want to stay that way. Jesus Christ, goddammit. That's the thought bubble coming out of his brain when he's saying nobody's like above the law. In his brain, he's going, but goddammit, I better be above the law because that's how it works in this country. Presidents are always above the law. Anyways. No one would want to be president if they could go to prison for war crimes. Exactly, Gene. Exactly. Exactly. They just want to make sure that the precedent is not set for a president to be held accountable. That's all this is. That's all this is. Anyway, so one other thing I wanted to cover before I get out of here. By the way, guys, by the way, if you like the show and you like it coming to you for free 99, Mondays through Friday on all your favorite channels, or most of them anyways, or maybe none of them. I don't know. If you like the show and you would like the show to keep on going and being free 99, and you enjoy the show and you think to yourself, man, how can I keep this show top notch and in my face every day? How can I keep this show going? A good way to do that is support the show through one of the links in the description box. There are a bunch of direct donation links, you know, the PayPals, the Cash Apps, the Venmos, the Coffees, the Zells. There's Super Rays and Super Chats and all that. They're all manner of ways to support the show. And for those that already do support the show, you know who you are. I appreciate you. Deeb says you could start by liking. Damn straight. You could start by liking. You could start by sharing. You could start by reposting. You could start with all them things. That's just the least you could do. Okay. Jazz Farm, Nixon resigned because his advisor warned him he would be convicted. No. He didn't want to go. He did not want to go. He didn't want to go. He really didn't want to go. Devil's Therapist. Is SoundCloud worth it as an artist? Without or with a subscription? I don't know. I don't really do SoundCloud too much. I mean, I have a SoundCloud account, but I don't spend a lot of time over there. I don't know why, but some people love SoundCloud. I don't know. It's not really my bag. I don't pay for it. I just have like a free. I just post my music over there, and not even all my music, but the last couple records I put up over there. Bandcamp, exactly. I was just about to say, Bella, thank you, that I have all of my music on Bandcamp. Hey, why don't I just drop a link right now? All of my music's on Bandcamp. You guys, if you want to support that way or check it out. And I'm working on another record right now. Here you go. Here's a Bandcamp link. Rock Fenders, you're gonna get it too. There's another ruling. Let's check in on this other ruling from the Supreme Court before we get out of here. And this is closer to our beloved topic of the environment. This is not good news either. This is basically bad news for the environment. What it means for the Supreme Court to throw out Chevron decision. Executive branch agencies will likely have more difficulty regulating the environment, public health, workplace safety, and other issues under a far-reaching decision by the Supreme Court. The right-leaning Supreme Court. The court's 6-3 ruling on Friday overturned a 1984 decision, colloquially known as Chevron, that has instructed lower courts to defer to federal agencies when laws passed by Congress are not crystal clear. The 40-year-old decision has been the basis for upholding thousands of regulations by dozens of federal agencies, but has long been a target of conservatives and business groups who argue that it grants too much power to the executive branch, or what some critics call the administrative state, or the deep state, or whatever you want to call it, or the appointed managerial class. The Biden administration has defended the law, warning that overturning so-called Chevron deference would be destabilizing and could bring a convulsive shock to the nation's legal system. What is the Chevron decision? Atlantic herring fishermen sued over federal rules requiring them to pay for independent observers to monitor their catch. The fishermen argued that the 1976 Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Conservation and Management Act did not authorize officials to create industry-funded monitoring requirements, and that the National Marine Fisheries Service failed to follow proper rulemaking procedure. In two related cases, the fishermen asked the court to overturn the 40-year-old Chevron doctrine, which stems from a unanimous Supreme Court case involving the energy giant in a dispute over the Clean Air Act. That ruling said judges should defer to executive branch when laws passed by Congress are ambiguous. In that case, the court upheld an action by the Environmental Protection Agency under then President Ronald Reagan. In the decades following the ruling, Chevron has been a bedrock of modern administrative law, requiring judges to defer to agencies' reasonable interpretations of congressional statutes. I'm a little bit 50-50 on this. By the way, I'm just telling you. The current high court with 6-3 conservative majority has been increasingly skeptical of the powers of federal agencies. I mean, I'm 50-50 on this only because federal agencies have been up to near good for sure recently, right? So, But, for the most part, it makes it harder to enforce environmental rules, right? And this does undermine regulatory bodies. But the problem is that the regulatory bodies are captured. So what are we undermining? It's hard to know which way is up. Right? Current high court with a 6-3 conservative majority has been increasingly skeptical of the powers of federal agencies. Justices Brett Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch have questioned the Chevron decision. Ironically, it was Gorsuch's mother, former EPA Administrator Ann Gorsuch, who made the decision that the Supreme Court upheld in 1984. With a closely divided Congress, presidential administrations have increasingly turned to federal regulation to implement policy changes. Federal rules impact virtually every aspect of everyday life, from the food we eat and the cars we drive to the air we breathe and homes we live in. President Joe Biden's administration, for example, has issued a host of new regulations on the environment and other priorities, including restrictions on emissions from power plants and vehicle tailpipes, and rules on student loan forgiveness, overtime pay, and affordable housing. Those actions and others could be opened up to legal challenges if judges are allowed to discount or disregard the expertise of the executive branch agencies that put them into place. I am still divided on this because you have unappointed officials putting rules in place that may or may not make any sense or make it, or be good for the people, places, and things that they're regulating. I don't know. Shani, rules no one was going to enforce anyways. Thank you. Exactly. We have these regulatory bodies that are completely captured, and they're doing the bidding of the corporations. Look at the CDC. Look at the EPA. Look at the USDA. They are completely captured by corporations and doing the bidding of said corporations, so they're not really enforcing these rules like they should be. You're absolutely doggone, or what am I trying to say? Doggone right. That's what I was trying to say. With billions of dollars potentially at stake. Groups representing the gun industry and other businesses such as tobacco, agriculture, timber, and home building were among those pressing the justices to overturn the Chevron doctrine and weaken government regulation. Which is pretty much the bottom of it. Again, just another prong of regulatory capture. Right. This is let's keep going. I've got to end the show pretty soon. U.S. Chamber of Commerce filed an amicus brief last year on behalf of business groups, arguing the modern application of Chevron has fostered aggrandizement of the executive branch at the expense of Congress and the courts. David Doniger, a lawyer and longtime Natural Resource Defense Council official who argued the original Chevron case in 1984, said he feared the ruling to overturn the doctrine could free judges to be radical activists who could effectively rewrite our laws and block the protections they are supposed to provide. The net effect will be to weaken our government's ability to meet the real problems the world is throwing at us. Big things like COVID and climate change, Doniger said. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I see this as a net negative, but I don't, again. That's true, Gene. Yeah, I don't get through most. Yes. Obviously this is a net negative. Oh, thanks, Steves. Thanks. Appreciate that. But yes, these regulatory bodies are captured anyways. So it's just deregulate. What did I say earlier today? This has been the libertarian / right wing / heritage foundation / whatever you want to call it. This think tank game plan that has been going on for like 50 years. Deregulate, convince people that government is bad, that regulations are ruining your life, and deregulate to the point where there's no control of anything. And we're just left to fend for ourselves, which is where we're getting to. That's the end run of this, is like we're going to have to take things into our own hands if we want to live unaccosted by these corporations. All right, guys. Let me check and see if I got anybody to thank. Don't think so. Checking in on Rockfin folks, Rockfinners. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Yeah, you're right, Denver. It is weird when people go viral. You wonder why, and you wonder why, but at the same time, nobody knows why things go viral. I mean, it is sometimes just the strangest things go viral. But don't get me wrong, my eyebrows they raise up to one side. Okay. All right, guys. I will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. That's the regular time every day. And I'm going to see you guys then. And until next time, peace.